There are three parts to making a border: the style, the width, and the color. So you can actually add a border to pretty much any element. You can add it to the body, so the overall site. You can add it to any titles, to any text. Typically you won't add it to most text, like the regular p tag. You can add it to lists or images, pretty much anything. So let's take a look at that. In here I have a couple of lists, and then I have an image, and I have some H2s and an H1. So I could go in here, say I wanted a border around the H2s, and I could say H2 open and closed curly brackets. Now there's a couple of different ways to do this. I'm going to show you the slightly longer way because it's a little bit more illustrative of what you're going to be doing. So we say border dash style. So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of border styles, like dashed and dotted, pretty much as the names imply what they do. I'm going to choose dotted for the moment. Border dash width. Now here's, it's not really a tricky part, but typically you are going to want to type in a specific width. So they have their own suggestions here, but let's do 5px. Now I've clicked here, and it's showing it on here, but you actually do need the three types of things because otherwise it's just going to default to black. So I'm going to say border dash color, and then like color with most things, I can select a color. So I could do maybe some sort of blue that kind of matches. I can use the eyedropper tool, by the way, to pick from that color or whatever I want. I hit semicolon. Now we can see this has made the border around this item. I can set a width to things that have a border if I needed to for some reason. Most of the time you're probably not going to set a width, but you might. It just depends. You'll run into this more as we go on with the course. So if I wanted to, I could add some padding to kind of spread out that space around it for whatever reason. So I could change this. As a note, in the little sidebar down here under Properties, you can go scroll down to Border. I happen to know these by heart, but if you're still learning them, which you probably are, you can click on it and then select it and try some different things. So we have dashed and solid. Solid's probably the one you'll end up using the most. Now you'll notice that when I started messing with that it put them all into one line. So this is a special instance where you can either do them separately, like I had typed out, or you can type the width, the style, and the color all in one line with no commas or anything, just all of those things. So Dreamweaver does a few things for you, and that's one of them. So now you'll just have to remember, oh, okay, that's the width that I want for this, and I can change that. So say I want a width around all images. Well, there is a way to set it to specific images, but I want to show you all images. It would be img open and closed curly brackets, and basically you just do the same thing. Or in this case, you can copy and paste. So now there's a border around that or any other images that I add. You can add a background color, so I could say background dash color. And you can make those changes. You can add a whole bunch of things. You could make the color be white. Basically, the border exists outside of those colors. So you'll notice that it's actually kind of outside of this image. If I take that off of it, then it removes that space. So keep that in mind when you're designing. There's some really minute details to take care of, like the fact that border will take up space. We can see this especially if we make it really big, like 50. We notice that it's pushing that information way to the center there. This also affects things. So if we have a really thick border and we want to have dots or dashes, it's going to do things of that nature, make really big dots or dashes, which can be kind of fun. But keep in mind that when we go to preview this on the browser, that it's going to look a little bit different because the browser resizes.